Go live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 218th episode of the workshop.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's right. I have with me Sandra, Jesse, and Dr. Ellen. My name is Victoria Blair. I'll be hosting. I'm located in Montreal right now. Sandra, where are you located?
Concord, California.
What about you, Jesse?
Calgary, Alberta.
And Dr. Ellen?
I am in Chicago.
So we're pretty even, Canada, US, right? That's good. Oh, wait, I have someone else in the queue. Is Ari? Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, it's Ari.
Ari, I'm so sorry. Have you been waiting there long?
Oh, no, I really snuck in like a minute before 10, so
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
I'm in Dover, New Hampshire.
Dover, New Hampshire. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just for anyone watching, I just want to remind you that this is a comedy safe space, which means you can say whatever you want to say with the intention of being funny. There's no hard limits, let's say. You know, it's pretty much the opposite of a safe space. So just keep that in mind as you hear whatever you're going to hear tonight. And the way that it works is that Kevin or Scott gave us a very random topic and we wrote 3 to 5 minutes of material on it. We're going to tell it to each other, give each other feedback, and then we're going to do the same thing with our own material. Who wants to start?
I will. Oh, wait.
Yeah? Perfect. So just let me know when you're ready.
Oh,
Which one did you say yes to, Victoria?
Sandra, I only heard Sandra.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
okay. Because I got pull it up on the screen. Don't think I have this memorized. All right. My word is nightclub. There are different kinds of nightclubs. Some are dark. They're conducive to slow movement and mellow swings. There are gaudy nightclubs, like a woman with too much makeup, overdressed, conducive to showy moves and erratic swings. And there are the loud nightclubs, conducive to bold, flamboyant moves and hard, precise swings. And all have one thing in common. Depending on who's using it, the nightclub can be deadly. Policemen, Marines, and Navy SEALs often use nightclubs, while civilians prefer day clubs. They're shorter, easier to conceal, and a lot of them have poison barbs. Now, you may wonder where the word nightclub came from. It got its name in the 12th century when it was a favorite weapon of the king's knights. And yes, that was spelled with a K, but sometime around the middle of the 18th century, the K was dropped from the spelling. Now, day clubs were favorites of the courtesans. It was easy to use when they had been paid to kill a duke, a king, or whoever. And that's all I know about nightclubs.
Thank you. So I really like the pun, the nightclubs and the nightclubs. That was good. I didn't see it coming, but then when you started talking about like the clubs in terms of like the weapon, I started thinking about what you said in the beginning about swings, like the erratic swings and the bolder swings, and it made sense. I really like that your whole set was just complete bullshit. Like you didn't say anything.
It's true. It's true.
I love that. And Yeah, and also at the end you said the Duke, the King, and whoever. I thought you could like is rule of three. You could add like another
I
like a
hadn't
third,
finished
but I
that
didn't.
line yet.
Yeah, that's okay. But that's
I
all the feedback. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it being a PSA, to be honest. That's how it struck my ear. Like I could totally see that if you were to workshop it into being like more of a commercial format, where like you have like those really dangerous images of like nightclubs. Yeah, only thing I thought that was a great format. The only thing I had written down was nightclubs. Possible side effects include concussion, feelings of empowerment, and possible imprisonment for assault. Just because the way she had gone into it at first, with it being how nightclubs were a dangerous place, I thought that would be a nice place to fit that. But overall, I thought it was a great format.
No, I couldn't quite get that whole thing that you said. Can you say it slower?
Nightclubs, possible side effects include concussion, feelings of empowerment, and possible imprisonment for assault.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I also liked the pivot to, the nightclub item. I think I'm not sure how long your time ran, but
2 minutes.
yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna pad your set, I mean, have you been in a nightclub before? Have you like gone out like dancing or whatever?
Hey, they had nightclubs when I was young.
I mean that's kind of my point. It's like you've surely got something in your wheelhouse of like an experience at a nightclub. So it's just for me like there's probably a wealth in there. If you're gonna you can always so you're using the nightclub as an item. You can always it's a phallic item. You can always go there. That's easy. Yeah, I mean that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're right. I should think about real ones.
What about you, Dr. Ellen? What did you think?
I like the way that you started out like a story kind of, and I like the idea about that where it originated in the 12th century, and I think you could have fun with also talking about nightclubs as they evolved, from the cave or wherever they started, but I love that you started with that, because it's always like, wow, what do I do with this word when you first get the word? And sometimes I feel like it must all be truthful stuff. Like I look up the definitions, and this time I had the sense, like you too, of like, wait a minute, what if I make this into a story? And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Good things. I might actually make that one into a bit.
It just struck me like, what about going clubbing? That's it. What would that?
I could go clubbing after a long day of work. Absolutely.
Nothing's better for your stress relief than a long night of clubbing.
Man, just let me wait till I get out of the hospital to start. Yeah.
And then you go back to the emergency to
find the people that I clubbed with, or two. Yeah.
Dr. Ellen's just making more patients. I mean, that's just being proactive.
Absolutely. We have to have job security one way or the other.
Yeah. You're just looking out for your colleagues.
Yeah. Supporting.
It's only the long-term wards that are overran. Immediate trauma, we can still get some work in there.
And the more trauma we have, the less drunks we have, right? It's true.
Can't spread COVID if your legs are broken, motherfucker.
What about you, Jesse? Do you have any feedback?
I already gave my feedback. I thought the beginning as a PSA was just great. I really
you
enjoyed
did give
that.
your feedback. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I have very short-term memory. All right, we're gonna move on to the next person. Which someone wanted to go in at the same time as Sandra, right?
I'll go next since I'm sitting right beside her on the feed here.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so my topic was affairs. Hope you guys enjoy. Good evening and welcome to the workshop news stop, where we cover all the current affairs and the news is always fake. Today in municipal news, there is an upcoming question and answer with Mayor Nenshi of Calgary, Alberta, with recent siege of a local outdoor frozen pond by neighborhood teenagers. It has been speculated that Nenshi, along with the approval of City Council, will be deploying incendiary missile strikes in order to avert the spread of COVID-19 to the area, because as we all know, the virus is susceptible to intense heat. In related news, a ring of black market masks have been found circulating the great southern Alberta area and suspected ties to organized child trafficking and labor. These counterfeit masks, although with a Louis Vuitton print, have been made from used diapers, particularly that of Indian children who I'm being told are surviving off of a strict diet of curry and coconut milk. Irish mobster Sally McMurderhand is believed to be the one breaking the scheme. We have a live audio statement from him now. If we could just cut over to that. It was wrong what he did to those children. Those diapers, he should have thrown them out. But I said to Cogan, he wouldn't have do it. He was a cheap bastard. So the real ones just started sewing up the diapers, and with those fancy masks and all those folks in the shop been wearing, wasn't right to just feed them curry and coconut or milk, but that's all we were giving them. Wasn't right, so I had to say something as I did. The McMurderhands never harmed a soul as a clan outside of the clubbings and the robbings and the stabbings, and we'll be covering this as more develops. In national news, the federal government reclaimed efforts for fraudulent Canadian emergency response effort claims. Tactics have included strongly worded letters to both offenders' homes and their mothers, calling and leaving voice messages on offenders' machines that sound of, dude, not chill to be ducking me like this. I totally helped you out that one time. Canadian Revenue Agency representatives are also standing in front of offenders' homes, reminding offenders that the agents can totally see you in there, bro, and we can see that new PS5, Tyler. You said you needed that cash for instant noodles and rent, bro. Prime Minister Trudeau was asked for comment about the effectiveness of these tactics and responded, "You're all totally going to pay it back, or else I'm going to go do what Big Papa Castro would have done and bring back debtors' prison. That should help bring down greenhouse gas emissions, so it's totally chill." Finally, our international story for the evening. The UK has finally reached a deal in regards to Brexit and future dealings with the European Union. The historic deal reached by Boris Johnson in summary was summarized at a press briefing by Foreign Affairs Minister Dominic Raab this afternoon. Fuck it, we keep that fish, bro, and you won't battle them, and you body boys just go head back to France or wherever. Very moving and very insightful. My name is Jesse Gillette, and this has been the Weekend News Stop.
Thank you. That was good. I like that you thought they would explode the virus, right? Is because of heat as a weakness. I like your whole thing. I thought like I could see like a YouTube sketch, like with actors and stuff. Like you could make it into.
That's what I was aiming for. Yeah.
Yeah. Also I really like your accents. I don't know if they were accurate because English is my second language, but I enjoyed them. And I thought you were a little fast though, but maybe that's just because you're not in front of a real audience or something. Yeah.
It's really hard to do pacing. Yeah, I won't lie.
Yeah. especially like I can imagine like a news reporter. It seems like they speak really quickly.
Well, it was my first time really like reading and trying to perform it. I probably should have practiced it a few times, but it's the workshop, so I was like, just give it to it raw, get the real feedback.
Yeah. But that's my only feedback. What about you, Sandra? What did you think?
Well, I couldn't help thinking that if you're going to do current affairs, that there should be one affair in the affair. And I just have, Maggie Prissy was seen leaving Mayor Long's office with her skirt on inside out. Something that had a true affair in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But with your way of writing, not my way.
Okay, so like there, see, that was something I was trying to avoid, because that's directly where my mind went when I first got the topic, is like a marital affair. But it just felt like the obvious way to go, so that's why I doubled down on the news report. But I do agree that I could have peppered something in there about a marital affair, and obviously there's a ton to work with on that subject matter.
Right.
I think if I developed a bit for my production, or I do a production on the side, so odds are I will develop this into a YouTube bit. So I'm definitely gonna take that into account when I write more.
Yeah, because I like what you write and I like your writing, but it would be like the double turnaround, because when you say affair and start on current affairs, then people go, oh, okay. And then you slip it in there, they won't be expecting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go back to whatever else. Yeah.
I could even do that as like a celebrity current affair, where I could just adopt a new character, and they could dish out the gossip, so to speak, on who's cheating on who's seeing who, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, and in other news, I'm currently having an affair
Oh,
with
yeah.
whoever. Or like,
I feel like that.
Nice.
And in
And then
current
I
news,
like that one.
that's what's happening with me.
what about you, Dr. Allen? What did you think?
I like that. I did. I like the idea that you started with a premise, and I love of the news program, and I do think it would be fun too to throw in what kind of affairs, and I really like that idea, Victoria, too, what you said at the very end. And I mean, just to come back around and give it a punchline with your personal affair. But I really like that. I think that's challenging when we get these topics to make a format for them. So I really am liking seeing how you choose them.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
What about you? No, you say it.
Ari.
Ari. What about you?
Yeah, I've done a few of these, and I definitely I appreciate different format, different delivery than I typically hear with a lot of people. I think the one thing that I would I guess note on is your delivery was a little bit shaky, just in terms of like actually getting things out. If you're producing this, I'm sure that you would use I guess like you'd probably edit it to have specific takes. But if you're doing it,
Well, yeah, I'd run the lines four or five times before I actually recorded a take.
Yeah. So I guess for me from there, I just I think that maybe a few of the jokes that you did might could use a little bit of editing, just because you did go into a couple different like character moments, and I think for me it may have interrupted the flow of the set in a way that was kind of like distracting and like yeah. Overall, it felt like it when you went into character, it was kind of like a very hard and abrupt cut. So I think you could maybe, at least in the set, do it slightly less so it has a little bit more impact, but you kind of like went to and from it. And I feel like that interrupted your momentum.
Okay, so find a smoother way to transition.
Yeah, I think the transitions on those moments in particular could use a little.
Even if it's just like a little shift to indicate that there's going to be a shift in character, something.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Or like a
Okay,
big
thank
pause
you.
or
I appreciate
something.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was going for those quick transitions because I thought that the quick transition would translate over into maybe a live edit cut, so to speak. But I guess that didn't really translate over too well. So, you know, we try things. Sometimes they don't work.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I won't. I'm definitely not faulting you too much because I think there's like a little bit of audio feedback and
Oh yeah, that was distracting as a motherfucker.
So yeah, like ultimately, I think there were things that were happening that were outside of your control that made it a little bit hard for me to catch everything. So overall, I think it was really cool. I like that you're doing something different. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. That was all really, really helpful feedback. That's definitely going to help me in the next coming weeks.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna move on to the next comic, which is Dr. Ellen. Dr. Ellen, are you ready?
I am ready.
I like saying Dr. Ellen. It makes me feel like I'm in Grey's Anatomy or something.
I started using it more to ground my material because I don't have to tell everybody I'm an ER doctor. Well, so my topic for this week is milkshake. And the milkshake, which is milk shaken, made into a dessert, was invented in 1832 by Janice Krumholtz as she tried to use a man's stomach as the way to his heart. It worked. Now, comedy is like a milkshake, and it takes some everyday things, shakes them up, and makes them into a delicacy. So too are a stripper's boobs like a milkshake, depending on where your taste is for a delicacy. Now, what comes up for me is that just because it's shaken doesn't mean that it's good. And for me, when I think of it, even though it's delicious to other people, all I can think of is, what about the people that are lactose intolerant? What about people that do keto like me? What about people that are just plain fat? So, we assume certain things are going to be good, and sometimes they are not. Now, my own relationship to milkshakes, well, I have PTSD for milkshakes. I do. Now, part of it is because of old memories. Part of it is because I am a slob and I have spilled a milkshake. So what do you think? We go from milkshake to PTSD, and yes, what is indicated now? Therapy. Yes, that's right. Now, is this practical? Yes, it is practical. There's never enough therapy, and somebody's going to make a buck or two because people will need therapy. But then again, what is the opposite? Speaking of therapy, what is the opposite of the milkshake? Yes, a milkshake of the brain. Brain freeze. Yes. Now, brain freeze can be good, but not delicious. My current priority, however, is senility and preventing my own. So the thing is, there are certain things about milkshakes besides brain freeze that are prohibitive. Now, for those of you who would like the public service announcement for the day, the keto diet is excellent for dealing with nerve degeneration. And so therefore, the original formulation of the milkshake is not advisable if one is working on neurodegenerative disease. So right now, I avoid the old time milkshake entirely. But if you want to talk about an almond milk milkshake, I am right there. And for you Canadians, the United States is like a milkshake after Trump. We took the milk of human kindness and the milk of America and shook it the hell up. So delicious. And thank you for listening to my thing about a milkshake.
That was just like listening to a very confusing conference. I really like your persona. Even your first line, it wasn't a joke, but it was just the intonation was so funny. It kind of made me giggle. You're like, what is a milkshake? And yeah, I really like your persona. The stripper's boobs thing, that was really funny. And then you would like answer questions that were not asked. And you said, yes, what is the opposite of a milkshake? Why, yes, it is a brain freeze, which doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever. But it was really good. And what about the milk of kindness and
I didn't connect them. I wanted to use that. The milk of human kindness. I like that idea of the United States being like a milkshake because something got shooken up. But I actually forgot what I had originally written. So I was trying to connect the dots, and I forgot where the dots were.
Okay. What about you, Sandra? What did you think?
I think I've heard Ellen several times, and I think this was the best thing I've heard you do.
Awesome. Thanks.
I really like that you kind of did let go, because it's finding that, and then when you put it into other normal jokes, it's that surprise, that's what's different. And learning how to let go is going to just make your comedy go soar. It's going to take you to the next level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so awesome. I always welcome your feedback. You're so crystal clear. And I've been choosing to be persona driven, and it's really helped a lot because it gives me a place to come from. So even if I'm not quite sure if the lines will come through or deliver, the persona is there, and that helps me to be present, I think.
Yeah, well, it helps you to get out of your head and let go of reality, because it's not you. It's like all the actors that they get on, they win this Oscar and they say, I'm really a very shy, blah, blah person. But they can get on stage and be fabulous. And that's where you're now being able to head with the character.
Oh, so that's really wonderful to hear. Thanks.
I'm not going to help you on writing, but performing I can.
Well, and that's the thing, that's.
Sorry, I had some technical issues.
That's okay. What about you, Ari? What did you think?
I guess just an observation first. I think it's really funny that we get like these explanations of like the prompts prior to like the set occurring, like these kind of like technical like definitions. I think yours was really funny because kind of like what Victoria pointed out, it then like very quickly didn't feel like a real like technical definition of like what a milkshake is. Yeah, I feel like I got thrown through like a few different loops in there. I definitely do. I enjoy kind of your the persona as mentioned. I like your kind of character that you built up. Um, yeah, I think I got lost like a couple times in the sort of like, okay, so we're talking about like a PTSD experience, we're talking about therapy, and I'm just like, what is going on? um,
Welcome to my brain.
which is I mean I'm for it. Like, I think if you can I think confusion can be a great tool for like delivering something that then catches people off guard. Because I think really often what people try to do is just try to make the most provocative thing, and that's where the shock value comes from, is from like that provocation. But I think if you can sort of lure people's brains into that sort of confused state, then you can come through and like punch something in and then get like a really good reaction from it. So I guess that might be like the note that I have, is that after I got confused, but I'm not sure I got quite the like punch afterwards to really like get me. I think the stripper comment was definitely like okay, this is like really interesting. This is a weird take, but at the same for it, I just think that like specifically like talking about that sort of PTSD therapy section, I think that there could have. I feel like that there was something that could have been edited into like after that to then like really strike and be like, okay, you're off kilter right now, and I can push you over, like
Hmm.
Mhm.
Or to bring it what I like to do is some actual positive public service announcement message at the end. I really want to use comedy to help make people's lives better. And I love what you said. I do I can totally make people confused, but what you said is that's really cool. I have them off kilter. That's a perfect place to bring my message
yeah.
in a very light, way. Thank you. I love that.
I have to say, I completely agree with Ari there. That's a lot of what I had, where I really liked your set in the sense that you really set up people to like be engaged with just your vernacular and the way that you were approaching things analytically. I just feel like it would have flowed better if you had just a few more punchlines peppered out through there to really pull people along and, like you said, throw those punches when like you have them open, right? So a couple of good examples was like that PTSD milkshake. You were a victim of a or PTSD victim of a milkshake IUD. More specifically, I dropped it and wore it. You know, like something that someone can really relate to. You know.
Yeah.
And I have to agree at the end there when you were trying to make that analogy. I agree with that positive message of initially America was very sweet and kind and then got shaken up. So I definitely think that is a
You have to start it over. You said shaken up and then you cut, so I don't know.
Then your connection got shaken out.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
But I was just saying I enjoyed the analogy and the way you said, because I do agree, America, a very sweet place, and it was shaken up, and hopefully that the outcome is something sweet. So I definitely love that little sign off there where you're bringing people through, and then you have that sweet little tag off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a comment here. Daniel says, boobs has 11 O's when Victoria says it.
That's just French in general, right there.
that's just- really? Boobs. I think I say it fine. All right, we're gonna move on to the next person, which is Ari Manikos.
Hey, should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. My set's all about biology, and you know, a lot of the prompts I've gotten have landed close to home, you know, in some way. So, you know, in this instance, you know, my sister, she's married, graduated with a degree in microbiology, a bachelor's, where I'm a bachelor, and I graduated with a degree of disappointment in the eyes of my parents. I wasn't a good student. I actually failed my biology class in high school. And it wasn't my teacher's fault or anything. I was a little shit, like, but coincidentally, I actually befriended the son of my biology teacher, and they're literally one of my best friends to this day. So can you imagine the disappointment of learning that your own child befriended the absolute moron that said their favorite scientist was Jenna Jameson on a written prompt in class? I feel bad for her. So, I mean, different people are born with different biology. I mean, we've all got different bits and parts and whatnot. We all look different. And, you know, I believe that we're all a bit too pent up with our bodies in America, the way that we handle nudity, laws associated with it. A lot of other countries, you know, don't have as much body shame. But, like, you know, obviously there's got to be some restrictions, right? Like, I mean, I've thought about this a bit. I've decided it'd be in everyone's best interest if my dad was the restriction. I've caught a couple of peaks in my life, and I think that's enough. I've done it for you, and I am positive that you don't want to see it. Everyone else will give a pass. My dad, you'll be okay. You don't need to see it. Speaking of body positivity, I was recently complimented on having a soft penis, and what a nice thing to hear. What a nice thing to hear from someone. So, I mean, a lot of people, you know, have been feeling the effects of COVID. We're in America, and you know, Facebook is like a breeding ground for people just learning about a whole bunch of stuff. And Facebook has just been absolutely crazy to me, seeing you know, the sort of things that people like to share with one another, but also just keeping in touch. So one of the people that I've been keeping in touch with is just from afar, you know, seeing how my mom's cousin in Germany is doing. And, you know, the thing about Facebook is that it will translate, you know, what is in a different language into your preferred language. So I've been getting to see how she is a COVID denier, anti-vax, vegan, and she really took a heel turn in life at some point. But I'm all about it. There's not a lot of guilt here for me. I get to just admire it from afar. So That's really all I got on biology.
Thank you. That was very good. I really like your persona. It's very like toned down, so it makes me want to lean in and like listen to what you have to say. Also, you always sound like you're about to cry, which really it makes me so excited and like happy. Like as much as you're sad, I'm matching that with glee.
Mhm.
And
That's such a comment. I think that says more about you than it does me.
but it's like, did you ever see that bit that Andy Kaufman does where he goes on stage and he bombs and then he just starts crying? You know?
No.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking
I
about.
can imagine.
It's amazing when he starts to cry. You just like you piss yourself because he's like making snot or whatever. Okay, anyways,
Yeah.
I maybe that does say more about me than it does about you.
I hesitate to begin anything with, I love how you played that character, just because I'm waiting for, that wasn't a character.
Yeah.
It's just how
Oh.
I do my set.
Your dad's penis. I thought you could add in there, like maybe like, oh, you don't want to see it. You might want to look at other stuff, like look at a nice sunset, or like there's other stuff to see in the world.
There's other dads' penises that are probably much better.
There's other dads' penises, and maybe you looked at those as well, and you compared like penises, and you're like the other ones are better. I really like that you
talk
got
about
your
PTSD.
I really like how you phrased it. I got complimented on my soft penis, or like that was really good for me. And then you said that your friend or like the person on Facebook was like an anti-vaxxer, COVID denier, and a vegan. And I thought like that's great because since she's vegan, no one's gonna listen to her about anything, right? So it's no threat to anyone. But other than that, that was great. That was very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, what about you, Sandra? What did you think?
Oh, I liked it. A lot of it. Couple of things though. When you were introduced,
Okay, hopefully this works a little bit better. Geez, so sorry about that.
if it wasn't here, and but you were just going to talk about biology, I could hear my mind heard you going, I'm going to tell you about biology. Of course, I failed it in high school, and then go on and get all your facts out.
That's a good edit.
And you got complimented on having a soft penis. That's funny. But I think if you gave it more of a lead up, the other day, this woman complimented me on my penis. She said it was the softest one she ever saw.
Yeah.
And I think same thing, but it's more of a surprise that way. And on, excuse me, the end, she's anti-vax, blah, 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 whatever you said, and a vegan. I can, oh shoot, now I'm losing the word. I can forgive anything except for being a vegan.
Oh, damn.
That's good.
Sandra's taking it. Those are great notes. I'm into it. Thank you.
What about you, Dr. Allen?
I was anxious for you to connect veganism with your meat and her appreciation of
Ooh, Dr. Ellen is going somewhere.
right. I mean, one way or another, you could totally use those. If that was the only meat she actually really likes, that you're really something special if a vegan likes your meat.
Oh my gosh.
Plus, I like us thinking about the persona and and Andy Kaufman, because I love the sensitivity. My favorite thing is men that are very bright and very sensitive. And there are so many ways you can go with that. You can seduce people with your sensitivity, like Andy Kaufman seduced people in that way. Because I really like that. I mean, and that's something I think that's true for all us comedians. I really think there are a lot of very bright, very sensitive people, which means that many of us are nuts. You may not be nuts. I know I am, but and I never feel more comfortable truly than when I'm in a room full of comedians. I knew people feel things. So I like that.
I want you to be my doctor because I want a doctor that admits they're nuts for operating on me.
The best kind. They're the best kind. And when I'm on my online dating, there are a few things that'll make me go on to the next guy. One is if they say anything about normal and either how they are normal and how they value normal, forget it.
What? You've seen that on dating sites? Guys that are like, I'm normal and I value normal.
Yeah, but
Done.
it's so hot right now. Vanilla in.
All right. What about you, Jesse?
I agree with Victoria. I thought that like the way you delivered it with like the soft-spoken speech and like just the timidness, it really did draw you in. I thought when you mentioned soft penis, I was complimented on having a soft penis, but I insisted it was hard. That just seemed, like, yeah. And at the end, when you said you were admiring her from afar, maybe like witness, admire makes it seem like, man, I wish I had that strength just to be all, fuck you, I'm ruining the world.
Those
But
are
yeah, no, that's all I
solid pivots there too.
All right. So we're gonna move on to my thingy. So my topic was middleman. So let's start by defining what is a middleman. A middleman is someone who is in no way essential but managed to be part of the process. Like how now the news reads tweets, or how we vote even though it's not really us that chooses, or me helping you get to the punchline. I was concerned that there was no middle woman, which I think isn't fair because women can also be vultures. We can be anything. I looked up middle woman just to see if the word was taken, and it is. Middle woman is a sex position, also known in some parts of the world as the kebab. In Montreal, we call it the Reuben. And I've been told they call it the Holy Trinity in the Vatican. Ain't no party like a Pope party. Whatever happens at the church stays at the church. That's the first commandment, or so I've been told. I wanted to keep going with Ellen's questions because she has a formula. She always asks what, when, who, and how, and why not. So I already did the what. Now is the question when. So when is a middleman, and I would say a middleman is after the first man, but before the last man. But don't have too much middleman, otherwise you'll spoil the last man. The third question is who. So who's the middleman? That's right. It's who. Yeah, who's the middleman? No, I'm not kidding. It's who's on third base. I don't know. I don't know who the middleman is. I'll know who the middleman is when I meet the last man. So the fourth question, how is the middleman? Which no one ever asks, but he's great. He's really happy. I asked, actually. Maybe I should check up more often on him. This list is actually really helpful. The last question is, why not the middleman? Which, when I wrote this, I was listening to Adele, so I started to get a little misty-eyed, and I was thinking, why not the middleman, you know? Just seems like a really personal and romantic question. And that's all I have. I didn't finish that one. I'm so sorry. That's it. Thank you. Sandra.
Very funny. You're doing the who, what, when, why, etc. Really brought out the best in you. And about the only thing I could think of that you missed
Yeah.
was that the middleman, granted, is between the first and the last,
Yeah.
but the middleman depends on how many men there are.
Yeah.
If there's 3, he's number 2, or it could be number 4 if there's, and you could somehow expand. And well, actually, if there's 4 men, then there are 2 middlemen.
That's true. Yeah. I could do like a mathematics.
Yeah, you could get into the math part of it, because I think the rest of it was very funny, and especially the middle woman.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, that there is no middle man. Just yeah. So
Thank you.
that's really all I got. I loved it.
Thanks. What about you, Dr. Ellen?
I loved it too. I love how you drop your punchlines. You get around them and just very gently you drop them. I love how smart they were. I love how you held your persona and just used the persona to lead people up to that, and the different kinds of things. I love how gentle you are, and how smart. I liked it a lot. And there were a couple places I really, I really laughed a couple of different times. I loved it.
Thank you. What about you, Ari?
I love how you take a moment like each okay, so yeah, I thought you did a great job. I think the part that really like tickled me, and also like in the realm of stuff that like that resonates with me, is the part where you started going into the classic like who's on third type of joke.
Yeah.
And then it just felt like you had such contempt for even like going there, that like I loved it, but like that's something that you could even punch up a little bit more and just be like, oh, I fucking hate this joke.
Oh, really?
That's necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, like just like really up the level of disdain for like going there, because it's like, okay, this is so classic and like has been done, and like it's in like public knowledge, that it's just like, oh gosh. So I really like that. I think like you could just, at the same point, that's up to you, because like I can't necessarily like, to me, it didn't feel like you were playing to like a specific persona. It felt like you were just being very natural in yourself. So like, that's not even for me to say like, oh yeah, do that and it'll be better. But I think like for me, I can easily see that just being like if you feel comfortable in that sort of like acting space during a performance where you're just like, oh God, like, you know, I think stuff like that plays really well to an audience. And then aside from that, yeah, I think it's just really solid. I liked hearing about the middle woman too. I think like didn't know it was called a kebab.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, like pretty solid. I don't have too much to say.
Oh, thank you. What about you, Jesse?
I honestly, as always, fantastic set. Like you have great pacing and you really have your delivery down. The only real places where I felt like it kind of pattered off was when you were talking about what the middleman is referred to in different parts of the world.
Mhm.
And you got to the Vatican. You seemed like you got a little lost in the Vatican.
Okay.
You mentioned what happens in the Vatican stays in the Vatican. So like you hinted at, like priests doing unspeakable things. So I figured why not just go for it and say in the Vatican they sub out the middle woman for altar boy.
I could, yeah. I definitely could go there.
Then when you were going, when you touched on the topic of the middleman being just right before the last man, but you got to be careful not to get too many little men or middlemen. Otherwise, you're not going to appreciate the last man.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to deliver that would be otherwise you will not feel the last man.
Oh. Okay.
And then at the end there, when you mentioned the middleman, like it really, like I do agree with you. That's a solid topic where like the middleman in essence is kind of a poetic thing, where it's like, why not the middleman? It seems so poetic. Why not the middleman? Always standing alone. Pass along the middleman because a woman's been kebab.
Right? Yeah.
Like I definitely feel like there's something there.
It almost sounds also like an action movie title, The Middleman. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably is.
I'd watch that. Someone from like someone with a shitty middle management job has to go all badass. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
with Denzel Washington in my head.
I
I
also
was thinking Vin Diesel, but you know what? I like where it's at.
Both, maybe. You know?
Oh,
I feel like Denzel's like 10 years out of like the true action movie. Like the last good one was The Equalizer.
You think
Fuck.
Vin Diesel is it? Vin Diesel is like pretty.
I think Vin Diesel's got one more in him, and let's be honest. Like we got to burn Vin somehow, right? Like we can't let him die to old age.
He needs one last good one.
Exactly. We got to send him on one last ride.
We
Literally.
need one more Riddick movie before he
He's
goes.
still
The
doing
last
Fast
Rick
and
movie.
Furious.
Ah,
There's one
right.
coming out next year with
Right,
Vin Diesel.
I forgot to mention one other thing, which I think like it felt very offhanded, like you moved past it pretty quickly, but identifying middlemen as vultures, I think
Yeah.
something that you
I
said,
love that. too.
which is like kind of like honestly, I guess like the structures of society right now. I was just like, oh damn, like that's like pretty like it's witty. It's a good identifier.
Okay.
Women can be
Sometimes
vultures
I'm not
too,
sure if
goddammit.
I'm. Yeah, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm sounding like a bit of a crazy person when I go into political stuff. So it's nice to.
As someone who does a
Just-
lot of political material, I find that going crazy is somewhat an asset because it does help to disarm some of that material.
Maybe that's true. Okay. Sorry, I'm taking notes. So this is the part where we're gonna start doing our own material, and if it's okay with everyone, we're gonna keep the same, well, somewhat the same. Is gonna be Sandra, Dr. Ellen, Ari, and Jesse, and then me. That's good.
And you didn't stumble on Ari's name.
I am getting quicker with the like.
Just forget the A. It's a R-E.
That's I like
Yeah, hold on. I'll I can help.
Ari. Ari.
Oh, I screwed up.
That's
There you
good.
go.
Thank you. That's a good reminder. I'm not a child. All right, so we're Sandra, are you ready?
I'm ready. I think. Okay. Uh, the other day, quite inadvertently, I learned how to drive people crazy. It started with a senior moment that I had in the grocery store. I had gotten some stuff, pushing my cart, and I heard this woman screaming, "Stop! You've got my child!" And I looked down and, yep, I had the wrong cart. So I just yelled back, "Why would I want your child? I bet nobody wants a child, certainly not yours. I mean, I bet even you don't want your child." And then, yeah, she's going, "Well, I've never." Where did you get the child? Did you steal him?
Mm-hmm.
And with this, the kid is starting to cry. And so she's going, "Oh, don't worry about that nasty lady. We're going to go home and have spaghetti for dinner." And he goes, "I don't want spaghetti. You can't make me eat spaghetti. I don't want spaghetti. I don't want spaghetti." And I'm thinking, why are children the only people who can have a fit in public? I mean, I look at my cart. I've got yogurt. Yeah, I want yogurt. You can't make me eat yogurt. Well, I must have been kind of, well, let's just say that the lady turned me into the police, not the police, the security. So the manager comes over to me and she says, "How did you get here?" And I'm saying, "I drove myself." And she says, "Sure you did. I know you drove yourself. And who did you come with?" "I came all by myself." "Well, can you tell me your name?" "My name is Sandra." "Your name is Sandra. Oh, that is so nice. Oh, she knows what her name is. Now, again, maybe you could tell me where you live." I said, "I'm not going to give you my address." "Oh, you don't know your address? Oh, well, maybe there's somebody we could call for you." And I'm thinking, that's it. If you want to drive people crazy, you talk very condescendingly to them. Repeat everything they say in a very nice way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was very good. I really like your impressions. That was good. The little boy and the condescending lady at the store, and I really like your story. I've never heard anything like that before. And I really like your. I love your joke. Like, "I don't want the yogurt," which is like you picked it. It's your own yogurt. And then you said I had a senior moment, which, like, I really love that turn of phrase. I don't really have any negative criticism, though. I'm sorry. Dr. Ellen, do you have anything?
I love that. I love the idea of turning around how people talk to older people with how people talk to kids and playing with it. And I love using that as a way, something that bothers us, to turn it around and drive other people batty, and saying, "I love that extra much." And the reflection of suddenly turning to your yogurt and realizing it's time for a tantrum. That's brilliant to go through. I love that. I loved all those, and how real it is, and how you use real moments to reflect and make it funny.
Thank you. I'm making a note.
What about you, Ari?
Um, so like in normal times, I would run like an open mic, and we would get like a really diverse like group of people to perform. And while I was just watching your set, just like the moment of you being like, I don't want spaghetti. I could just imagine you like on stage, like performing it, and like it felt great. Yeah. I really I enjoyed the sort of presence that you inhabited there, and yeah, I also don't really have a lot of notes for you there. Thought it was great. I would love to watch you.
Where did you say you lived?
I live in Dover. It's a whole thing. I don't know if we really like it. Pretty much, we had like this venue space that was like a co-op more or less. So we had a bunch of different people that were members. Once COVID started, I don't have access to that anymore. But yeah, I'm like an hour north of Boston.
Well, maybe I'll be in Boston again. I just want to show you.
All right. What about you, Jesse?
I thought that my feed unfortunately cut out in between the beginning and the end, so I did miss the middle. I caught the ending where you were talking about how the secret to driving people crazy is speaking to them in a slow and condescending tone. I feel like there is so much there for just that concept of turning folks' entitlement, like them just simply assuming that you need help.
Yeah.
And then just like, you know what, fine, let's turn this to 11, see how far we can take it. That concept is so funny to me. I really hope to see you expand on that. In the beginning there, I honestly thought that you were going to take it in another direction. When you mentioned the woman, I think it was a woman accusing you of trying to take her kid.
Yeah.
Reverse kidnapping just seems like a hilarious premise to me. Like, no, I'm not trying to take your kid. Why would I try to take your kid? Like, you don't even want your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved that. That was absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the next comic, which is Dr. Allen.
Well, hi. Okay, guys. Well, I'm a very nice person, and I can see you guys are nice people. I can tell you're nice already. Now, maybe that's because you haven't thrown anything at me yet. But you can't throw anything on Zoom. Then you wouldn't be able to see anything. But if you do, no tomatoes, nothing really smelly, and above all, no carbs, because I do keto. Now, I am an emergency room doctor in Chicago. I am. And I am also a junior senior citizen. You know why? Because people live a long time these days. So I can get away with saying junior senior citizen. Now, I thought being old was going to be worse than it is, you know. But, I mean, actually, I think about it, being young, you know what? Being young was a bitch. Being young was like being in this long, dark tunnel where no one can get out. You don't know what to do next. But see, being older, it's pretty cool because I know what I like. You know, I know what makes me happy. I like coffee. I like men, and I like to have a battery-powered device somewhere near my bed. But I am on the market. I'm in between husbands. Not mine. That's one thing I learned getting older. Much cheaper to be between other people's husbands. Alimony is terrible. But so I'm on online dating, and being a doctor helps me pick my potential dates. It does. I know how close people are to death. I'm a doctor. And I know what stupid looks like, right? Oh my God. But I told myself I can't afford to be that picky, right? I'm getting older, there are less options. And I do have one rule for myself about looking at the pictures. If I can't look at them and imagine a successful resuscitation, I can't date them. But beyond dating, I'll tell you, I work on my grooming all the time, I have rules for myself in terms of what I wear to work. Rule 1, I can't scare the patients. Rule 2, I still have to somehow look female. I like looking female. Rule 3, I must not feel bad about throwing it away because sometimes it gets all kinds of weird stuff on it at work. But I want to tell you, I want to inspire you because, let's see, COVID is a thing. It is a thing. And there was a time that I did get COVID. I did. And I was scared because I thought, what if I die? And I have no next of kin. Someone would be confused if they found the body. But you know what I was really afraid of? I was really afraid that I have way too many shoes. They would think I'm a streetwalker. And then they would find my calendar and they would see that I work at night and I'm paid by the hour. And then they would find my collection of surgical gloves and think they were having sex with 5 men at a time. So no, in essence, the worst thing to fear is not death. The worst thing to fear is what little secrets you have in your place. Death stinks.
Thank you. That was really good. I already heard like your material, so I don't really have a lot to say. I still love the way you explain things. I love the concept of successful resuscitation. Like, you say I must not scare the patient, and I like to look female. I thought you could expand maybe a bit on I must not scare the patient. And for I like to look female, I thought you could add, which is why I always wear a pink bow on my head when I go to work. And maybe you could be like, maybe this isn't with your persona, but something along the lines of like, which is also why a white jacket shows off my boobs or like, makes me look shapely in some way. But other than that, it's good.
Thank you. That would be, I could play with the whole outfit thing.
Yeah. Like a ridiculous,
Oh, it's already ridiculous. I forgot to add part.
What did
Thanks.
you think, Sandra?
Well, starting at the beginning, or not quite the beginning, you're a senior citizen, not a senior citizen, you're a junior senior citizen. I want to know very precisely. I'm a junior senior citizen. That means
Mm-hmm.
I'm younger, I don't have as many wrinkles, and I still have my own teeth. Something. And then you talk about the bad things of being young because you don't want to be, but you really start talking about being older. Again, just a quick couple things of what's bad about being young. or if nothing else, their brains aren't formed. So they make bad decisions, whatever.
Hmm.
I love you between husbands, not my own, but then I want you between husbands. A menage de trois with two married men is all right. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. What about you, Ari?
Wow, that was something. So yeah, I think for me, I thought the sort of like analogy of I guess being like a prostitute versus like I guess the way that you conduct your life and all of the things that you have like in your house. I think that's like really pretty funny and interesting, or just like how the sort of like a dark perception of someone based on like your belongings at home. I think that is a interesting way to end it. I so just to confirm, you are dating right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I'm curious about that. I want you to lean in a little bit more. Like, could Dr. Ellen be like a sugar mama? Like, like what is that experience like of the people on those dating apps? I think earlier you talked about the sort of like the normal man on there, so it's just like that whole thing. I'm curious about your perspective on I guess like what the dating pool looks like for you, and what you look for in those people. Yeah,
The dating pool itself, I'm glad to hear where the curiosity is. The dating pool itself is tremendously varied. It is so bizarre.
yeah.
It's definitely, I mean, from the young and very tattooed to the nearly dead, I swear.
So yeah, I guess just like playing off of that experience, because self-admittedly right there you're talking about how it's like a really bizarre thing, and that that's my like inclination, like in my mind I believe you 100%, like even before you said it. So I'm just wondering if maybe you've had some like interesting experiences in there, and you can punch your setup when talking about the those experiences being in between husbands. You've got like a perfect lead in into transition to talk about something in that realm. So that's like barely a note really, but I think it would enrich a set like that to hear about those kinds of experiences. So aside from that, I thought it was good set.
Thank you. Thanks.
What about you, Jesse?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed at the beginning where you're trying to where you bring up heckling and people throwing things at their television, like don't do anything smelly. I thought a funny thing to do with that would be start with your drinks, do a pause. Okay, if the device is still working, carry on with the show. And then dating when you're older. I thought maybe a funny thing would be something you have to pay attention to is men's medicine cabinets. If I really like them, then I'll make sure that they're on Cialis instead of Viagra. Viagra. It's very hard on their hearts.
I love that idea.
But yeah, no, that's all I had.
Thank you. I love that. To just sort of play with what would I do if I really liked them.
Exactly. Or what if you didn't like them, but they had a lot of money? So it's just like, I encourage the Viagra. He doesn't look into it.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's good. All right, we're gonna move on to our next comic, which is Ari. I think. Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. So, I uh, um, I like to watch a lot of different cooking shows. I like cooking for people. I legitimately believe that it's, helped me in my life. Um, I've watched Chef's Table on Netflix, and if you haven't watched it, it's about a lot of fancy chefs who just live all over the place. And it talks about how they live, how they came to form their restaurants, as well as the food that they make. And I learned one thing in particular about that, which is that in order to be the best chef, you have to dig a hole in the ground and then cook your food in it. And that's the best thing that you can do, because these guys fucking love to cook their food in a hole in the ground. It's like three different guys. They all cook their food in a hole in the ground. And you know, I found it a little surprising, where I'm just like, wow, these guys really love doing this. Like, why is this so popular? It makes me want to go out back and dig a few holes and see what comes out. But like, I just don't think that everyone can do that, right? That's a bit too much. That's not something you can really go to most restaurants and find. And then there's like the other thing, which is bugs. Bugs are in the ground. They're outside. But like, have you ever thought, about bugs? Like, bugs are dumb. Have you ever had a bug that made a decision to fly into your eye or nose? That's a dumb move, man. Like, why'd you do that? That was like the last thing that you did. It was decide to enter my body, and now you're dead. So I just had to say, bugs, kind of dumb, honestly. Yeah, gonna move on to something a little different. So a few this happened a little while ago. Pre-COVID, because I need to make that distinction. I was with a bunch of buddies. We got an Airbnb here in Vermont, and we had a nice little hot tub type experience over there. And the majority of the people that were there, all seemed to have a feminine experience growing up. And it seemed like each one of them happened to have some interesting story about wearing a thong. And I guess, like, your first time, or something funny or embarrassing or whatever. So, I didn't grow up with that experience. And so, what can you do? I'm wearing a thong right now. Because how else are you going to get that experience? If you want one, you got to go out and get it. So, I'm wearing one right now, and it's great. It's fantastic. I had to go to the store, and that's a really interesting experience to pick out your first thong. I ended up going with a purple lacy, a real deep purple, something to really wow, the audience. For the record, this when played live, you would get a nice view. I'm not actually wearing it today. I'm gonna let you know right now.
Boo.
Gonna break for a moment. When did everyone get so horny for witches? Did you all ever notice that? Like, did we all just watch too much Hocus Pocus when we were younger, or Sabrina, or Halloween Town, or the movie called The Witches, adapted from the Roald Dahl book The Witches? Is that why you're all trying to get small farm plots with goats? Are you trying to get me Black Phillips? Like, what's going on? At the end of the day, I know that, that's not the case. You're not all witches. My friend's mom is a witch. She's got pure white hair as long as I've known her. She has a barn and multiple cats and a house with thousands of small plastic horse figurines. And my friend once told me a story where they were outside once and it was a full moon. And their mom paused for a moment and looked at the moon. Oh, shit. And said, "Look at her." And she's got a car with a license plate that says iWitch on it. All right, that's my time.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought for the cooking the food in the ground, try it. Maybe in stage say like I tried it to cook my oatmeal or like to make some tea or something. Maybe you like it. Maybe now you cook everything in your hole in the ground. I don't know.
Honestly, if I'm willing to wear a thong, then I think I can probably cook my food in the ground too.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to do it. You could just say you're doing it.
Oh no, I got no shame in that. I think if you can show a thong on stage, which I've done at least once, then it's great. It
works.
Just drop your ass on stage.
That's the thong is really interesting because I also have a fun story about like my first thong, and I didn't know that was a thing. And then I thought it would be interesting. Is it a woman's thong or a man's thong that you got? Because if you got a woman's thong, you basically just have a triangle in the front on your pubis, and then the rest is just there, right?
Sure.
Whereas, there you go. A man's thong would I feel like it would be funnier if you confused the two to like you didn't know there was a men's thong and you just got a woman's thong.
Oh baby.
Okay. Anyways, and also I just wanted to say that what did I write here? I was always horny for witches. It's just convenient for everyone, I think. Witches are awesome. Come on.
Oh yeah. But let's not kid ourselves. Like, some folks are entering this in at a very face level value, but my friend's mom is like a lifer. Like,
yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. What were you saying, Jesse?
I said Hocus Pocus was sexy, damn it.
Yeah, that's
it's a real sexual awakening, that movie.
I don't know what to say. I don't know how to react. Sandra, what do you have feedback?
Well, the first thing, you started out saying that you like watching cooking shows because they helped you. But then you got into the story about the cooking show, and I kept waiting for how did they help you? Besides, I think what I'm trying to say is sometimes edit. If it doesn't move the story forward, take it out. You don't have to explain the whole cooking show. Rather, a lot of the chefs put things in the ground, in a hole in the ground. or just give the name of the show, but don't explain the whole show. But I still, even with that, you never got, do you want to be a chef? If you do, then the cooking shows help us. If you don't want to, then cooking things in the hole of the ground related to your life that you want. You know,
Yeah,
it's
Sandra.
fine to bury your women in a hole in the ground. I don't know what it is, but something there. Okay.
Yeah, I think that ties into Victoria's point of, you know, if I was to actually do it, and let's say, you know, I play off of that and say that, you know, oh, I cook all my food in the ground now, then I think, you know, in that way, that would tie into the like how it's helped me thing. So I think both of those points kind of link into one another.
But
I think it's solid. I think that's a good point.
I would like to see you have you related to other things than cooking.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, to make it more of a surprise is what
Yeah,
I'm.
doing my
Okay.
laundry in the ground now.
Let me see. Well, if you're talking about bugs are dumb, like some people, and maybe do a comparison between bugs and people and the dumb things they do. Again, keep it relatable. And the last one, wearing a thong, there's nothing like giving yourself a wedgie. That's it.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think overall I definitely there are a few things of like versus the other time that I ran this. I think that I need to change how this is ordered, and I think that maybe some of these bits belong better in other places, because the sort of like there's parts in this, so specifically like the witches bit, where I animate more, but I'd say on average I try to keep the sort of like low energy monotone like delivery. And I think on this one, I think it's like looking at it now, I do it's helpful to perform it again, because I'm just looking at it and being like, oh, you know, there's definitely like weird there's a weird flow on this set, and I think I can adjust it to make it work a little bit better. Did you have more to say though?
No.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Thank you. What about you, Dr. Ellen?
I have to apologize. I'm spacing out. I'm falling asleep.
Okay.
I'll be back. My head will be back, but it's unscrewed.
Oh, do you want us to pass you?
Yeah,
Okay.
passing, because I just worked 60 hours in like
Gross.
6 days, and so I apologize. I'm spaced.
That's okay. That's okay. Jesse, what did you think?
I have made a couple of notes here. Something that you might want to look into, just because cooking food in a hole in the ground, there is some current news that does relate to that. In Yellowstone National Park, some people were arrested and banned for life for trying to do exactly that. So something I wrote down that you can have, Chef's Table is pretty punk rock because they incite civil unrest. They insist that you cook food or your food in a hole in the ground. I live by that. That's why I can't go back to Yellowstone National Park. Maybe you read about it in the news. Banned for life, motherfucker. Another one. When you were talking about how you think bugs are stupid, and you mentioned a bug flying straight into your eye. What it made me write this down. What if that bug just hated us that much? Like, you took my family. Then I'm all like, mildly annoying. Stupid bug. And when you mentioned wearing panties in order to relate to the female experience, I wrote down, it's also why I don't ask girls to deep throat anymore. Rough cough.
Mhm.
And finally, the reason why women are obsessed with witches, because Cher ruled in witches. That's just how that is. Cher's amazing. Can't beat that.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna move on to the next person. Dr. Allen, stay awake.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You got this. Jesse, are you ready?
I'm determined. Dr. Ellen, you're nodding off. I'm gonna wake you up. Let's do it. It's gonna be fun. Put 5 on the clock. Please and thank you. So, my set tonight based around a very, very sad topic, but we can all relate to it. Loneliness, ladies and gentlemen. If you live alone, if you don't have anyone with you, then you know this topic oh too well. Like quicksand, but when you pout, someone offers a rope. When you pout and someone offers a rope, and you're desperate for it, then folks just go, "Yeah, no, you're too needy for that rope. Keep swimming, just a little bit more."
Mhm.
The worst is when they're like, "He's making a choice. You're making a choice." Like, yeah, no, I'm totally making a choice to be neurotically overthinking every small action, and like even so. When it gets down to that point of like, you have black coffee because you're broken. Yeah, that's a physical choice for me. Very cognizant. Loneliness, it's a compulsion. Like, I'll be honest with you. It's literally your mind going like, yeah, you're not happy with anything right now. So just like switch it all up. You're never going to be happy with all that. Imagine, if you will, it's like an episode of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, except they never come to a conclusion. It's just that like midsection where like you're not sure whether or not they're going to be able to give his life a swap and really change things around and open their eyes to a new point of view. Yeah, no, it never reaches that point. It's just like, yeah, no, I hate Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I'm watching Batman again. We need to rebrand the term "I just don't" or "no fucks given." Like, it has too much of a negative connotation. No fucks given. Like, let's be honest. No fucks given should really be, I just accept the world as it is. Although, this is my handwriting. It's terrible. Enjoy that. Take that in. Although neglected folks who just like to be the opposite. What the fuck? You know what? I can't read the last of that set, so we're going to go ahead and jump ahead. I wrote a lovely little limerick for you guys to close up this set. So, here it goes. Perhaps you are lonely because you're a prick, or due to the hygiene that makes people sick. A shame that you're lonely, or that your illness has gone so far untreated. I thought you'd seek help when history repeated. Your habits seem like, or your habits and. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I think I need to become a doctor because this handwriting is terrible. I didn't write this on. That's on me. That's an unprofessional move. But luckily for you folks watching, this is a free show, so you enjoy it. Thank you very much. I'm Jesse Delatte.
Honestly, I really enjoy watching you trying to read your own handwriting. I don't know why it is. It's like it's interesting. I really like the lonely rope thing that you were talking about. That like people are so lonely that like they have like a stink of desperation, and people are like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna help you. Help yourself."
Yeah.
I like that. I love the no. It's like Queer Eye, but no with no ending, which is just like I wrote down like you have a bad style, your apartment's disgusting and disorganized, and you don't know how to cook, and it's
And then
just
you
gonna
just
be that
don't
way.
change.
Yeah,
Just go
exactly.
watch Batman.
You can see that, and then go watch Batman. And then you said no fucks given is I accept the world as it is, which is very polite way of putting it. I don't. Yeah. That's all that I have for your side. What about you, Sandra?
Unfortunately, one, I love your writing. I cannot say specific things because my ears don't hear fast. I'm not sure if you can say, uh, and you talk just a little bit too fast for me to catch everything you say.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry.
well, no, it's not your fault. It's my hearing. Part of it is because I wear hearing aids, and I'm not sure. So I have trouble hearing some words anyway. But what I can hear, I think, is very funny. Uh, so I don't think I anytime would have really anything specific to add to what you do. I think you're a very good writer.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
What about you, Ari? What did you think? I just skipped Dr. Ellen. Dr. Ellen?
I am awake. I'm awake. I
Okay.
love that.
But okay, did I keep her awake? Did I do it?
You did. You did. Only half awake, but that was much more than not awake. I love no fucks given. I love your style, the kind of very smart wry style. I love it that you stood up for it. Makes a big difference. And I love the idea of taking loneliness, something that we are all going through, and to play with that, because it's a great playground where people will have some perspective. And I think it would be fun to know. I mean, you don't look like a guy necessarily that I think is going to be overpowered by loneliness. I would love to know what a
Oh,
situation.
I actually deal with crippling loneliness. It's a condition.
I would love to hear what it feels like for you, even half of it. Even one of those times where you were thinking, well, is this my choice or is this loneliness?
A
Because I
lot
think
of those bits I couldn't read were exactly that. Like the handwriting was just so messy. I was just like, okay, yeah, no, after the show, I need to type it up so that doesn't happen again.
I love that. You're like, those bits were everything you wanted to hear and more. They were.
It's there.
All right. Ari, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty solid. I think in my experience, and yet again, things that I kind of enjoy, or at least things I've also seen like play well to an audience. If you do struggle with a part of your set that you've like written down and either aren't feeling in the moment when you're performing, or like can't read it for or some sort of like technical reason, if you are depending on the sort of character that you've created, you can lean into it and then just be like, like on the cuff, just not being apologetic for it, but be like, nah, this is bullshit. Like, holy fuck, like this was written terribly. Just like really go into it, and it's kind of like the classic computer phrase, like it's not a bug, it's a feature. Like find ways to then make like the sort of misstep into something that maybe plays in a funny way while you're performing it.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. Like when I started stuttering the set halfway through, it's just like, okay, I can't read this writing for shit. How am I going to turn this? So it was just like, show the audience, like literally show them what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like I can't write for shit.
I think for me, in terms of kind of like the comedy that I enjoy the most, I like when the seams show a bit. I like when people are allowing themselves to be human. I don't like when people feel super manufactured when they're doing their material and it's just hyper edited and there's not like an ounce of sort of like human like error or like weirdness to it, where it just feels like it's the most polished like overly handled thing. It's like the same thing with music to me. It's
No,
like
I agree with that entirely. Like
yeah.
a truly genius set is one of those like something I love about live production for especially comedic venues is when you write a hiccup into the show, like it looks like it's not supposed to be there, so it gives that audience member that feeling of like, oh, I saw behind the curtain, but it still gets that huge laugh. Like Mighty Boosh, I don't know if you ever watched that. They did a huge live theatrical production, and they really capitalize on that sort of humor.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some Mighty Boosh. I haven't seen the live stuff, but ultimately, I guess my focus was mostly on I guess the point of difficulty which can happen in like any situation, regardless of like how you've prepared. I think sets should get like edited in real time as people are performing based on how the audience might be responding to stuff. So I guess for me, that's it's these are good opportunities to think about stuff like that, where it's just sort of like, if I have to adjust in real time, how do I go about doing that in a way that doesn't feel like jarring and derails like the momentum that I did build with like the otherwise really solid, material that you had in advance of that.
No, and I think you're entirely right. Like instead of just ending the set right there, I could have went into a full minute about just my terrible handwriting. Like I have a doctor in the audience. I could have played off.
Yeah. I tried to go to the doctor, but she couldn't figure out what was wrong with me based on my patient form. she prescribed me grade school again.
Even as I was turning, I was like, "Doctor, do you concur? My handwriting terrible? Yeah, concur.
That's good.
But yeah, I guess talking about in that same sense, you brought it up. Yeah, did you say you were diagnosed with crippling isolation or loneliness?
Yeah, from a young age.
Yeah. So it's oh yeah, I was diagnosed with this. You already mentioned that some of that stuff got thrown out just because it was hard to read. But yeah, I think for me, I love to throw in ad libs while I'm performing. So just stuff like that. Don't let yourself be too beholden to like anything you've written down. Let some stuff just fire off, and like that helps build you as a character. I think you can give yourself to the audience a bit at those specific points in time.
No, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Like majority of what I normally perform is improv and loosely scripted. It's
oh no!
I've been trying to like get into more scripted material where it's like, okay, memorize the lines, figure out the actual cadence of it all. But I agree with you where like there's a lot to be said about in the moment adjustment and spontaneity, I believe is the word.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move on to me, and I'm gonna try to make to go through my material a little quickly. I think Dr. Allen already heard most of my stuff. It's the last time I do it for 2020. So maybe some of you know, I have a gun permit. I have a gun permit. I don't have a driver's license though, because let's face it, the tests are so complicated. The insurance is expensive. Parking you have to pay for. Like there's all these things. I'd rather just own a gun and take the bus. And if I show the bus driver my gun, I get a free fare, which is great. The other day, I got a free bus. And I didn't even have to worry about parking it or anything because, again, I have a gun. So what are you going to do? I have a boyfriend, and I wish my boyfriend would write me a song. I've asked him a million times. He keeps saying, I'm not a musician, I'm an engineer. But, like, why doesn't he write me a computer language then? You know? It could be like, you've heard of C++ and you've heard of Python. Now get ready for Victoria, the new computer language that's unintuitive and hard to use. You can try to use it to do a handful of basic commands. I don't know. I live with two roommates. I live with two roommates in their 20s, and I'm in my 30s, and that's my bad. That I live with people in their 20s. It's exhausting. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to do the dishes. They don't know how to have sex quietly. And they don't know how to please a woman, which I don't understand why you would be so loud about it. Like, just think of someone else for a bit and like maybe refill the dish soap once in a while. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe you can't see. Well, you can't see and you can't smell, but I have the bedroom of a depressed person. Like you can tell right as you walk in, like, wow, this really smells like ramen soups. And is that a spoon on the bed? What is that for? I have a spoon on my bed for my soups. I have a fork for scratching myself. I got a bottle opener on my bed as well for bottles to open. And I got this bullet that's stuck between the wall and the bed. It's not a bullet for my gun. It's a clitoris bullet, right? It's a clitoris bullet. And it's too small and slippery for me to pick it up. Not my, the bullet, not my clitoris. My clitoris is huge and it is bone dry. My clitoris is so big, I already have the micro penis if I need a sex change. Like, the doctor just has to sew me up. I could probably get a discount. I'm a sucker for a good discount. Can I get a Dr. Allen? Do you think I could get a discount? Yeah. I think that's all the material I have to work on. Oh, wait, I wrote something in my sleep last night, which might also be like an old bit that I already wrote that I forgot, but I wrote down, I keep losing and gaining weight. I have the body of a bagpipe. I don't know if that's anything. All right, that's it.
Very good. I like your you have a gun but no driver's license, just the whole idea. I think and I like what you do with it. One more place to go with it is just like, don't drive, don't drink and drive. So you don't, this would be don't shoot and drive.
But there's no law like that. I could drink and shoot.
No, right? This is, no, you don't have a driver's license because you can't drive and shoot.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know if it would work or not. And the one that I really have one thing on is when you're bad for, your fault for getting the younger roommates. Your second one is, I don't know how to put, is too long. But if you have your first one, they don't know how to.
They don't know how to do the dishes. They don't know how to have sex quietly.
No, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to do dishes, and they don't know how to please a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
3 very short, and boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was trying to make it into a longer thing, but maybe if I just like ended there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you may come up with other things that and more to say about them. But it becomes a callback or a tag to the main joke.
That's good because I hate that part of the joke, so thank you.
But I do like the don't know how to please a woman. That is a funny ending to it.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Ellen, what did you think?
I always love the unexpected thing of you having a gun. I love that.
Yeah.
Because you have such sweetness but I really feel the sense of purpose that you're committed to this gun. I love that. And I would love to know a little bit more about the other roommates. And I love that line too about they don't know how to please a woman. And I would love it if kind of there was this undercurrent of you really expect to be pleased. And I would like to see some more ways that they didn't please you so that at the very end you can use that and go, and they don't know how to please a woman. It's just sort of like really the object of the game is to please you, and they blew it on all these areas. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, see, this is interesting because the way I wrote it, I thought it was more like they're so loud I can hear how bad they are at sex.
Oh yeah.
But you're saying that I'm having sex with my roommates and I'm like, you guys are not that great.
Well, no, I mean, I don't mean that. No, I heard that part that was so loud, but I would love it. Yeah, no, I didn't think you were having sex with them, but I think it would be nice to know that if they knew that the real prize was having sex with you,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Not that you're having sex with them, but that they blew it on many avenues. But plus, I thought they were girls.
Well, no, but it could be. All right. Ari, what did you think?
Like the opener with the bus and the gun. I think free bus fare was funny. I think the height into free bus was also really good. I think that you could definitely end that with like, I got the free bus, but I crashed it because I still didn't know how to drive it. Similar points on the talk about roommates thing. I think that it would be like a pretty funny pivot to talk about how they don't know how to please you, don't know how to do the dishes, they never make me come. Like they're just failing on all levels.
Yeah.
And
last time I lived with 20-year-olds. Don't make that's funny.
They have no idea what they're doing. The part about the clit bullet, you can definitely repurpose the gun analogy a little bit more, talking about like aiming it straight onto your clit. Talking about the sex change thing, I think that you can play on that a little bit. You can be like, like if I ever want like a guy to make me come, I just tell him to give me a blowjob instead of eating me out, because that way I know that they're paying the correct attention to the right spot.
That's
and I feel like that was most of those are most of the points. I think that you got really solid premises though on all of those. I think that they definitely like a big fan of the opener. I really like the gun and bus stuff. I think that plays pretty funny, and I think it is genuinely, like Ellen said, unexpected that you own a gun, and that you're Canadian. I feel like both of those things, like in my mind, they're like anachronistic. Like it just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, we can own guns.
Hey, that's American Identity, okay? And I
And
gotta appreciate
her being
you.
from Montreal, that all tracks.
It's kind of cultural
Totally.
appropriation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait to try the blowjob thing. It's really if I do it on stage, my boyfriend's gonna get really upset. So it's gonna be funny.
Hey, it doesn't. I mean,
I feel like you enjoy pissing Claudio off to some extent or another.
Claudio?
Isn't that your boyfriend?
No.
I thought you guys were dating. That's so
I
embarrassing.
know because we have a good rapport. Like people keep telling me that, but no, my boyfriend's actually is an engineer. He's someone else. He's not Claudio.
Yeah, I thought it was Claudio. Holy shit.
I did remember one other thing, which was in regards to the boyfriend thing. I thought of like yet again another pivot on that, which is like I keep telling my boyfriend to write a song about me, but you know he says that he's an engineer and not a musician, and also not my boyfriend.
I like
Yeah,
that.
not with that attitude. Yeah, that'd be good. That's good. Thank you. Jesse, what did you think?
I thought when you mentioned that you wish that he would write you a coding language,
Yeah.
a good one for what that coding language does. Full of bugs and only plays comedy albums. I thought a good line, because you mentioned the loud sex and then not being able to please a woman. Loud sex while not phasing a woman is just one man pretending to be a cat. And then not a bullet for my gun, it's a bullet for my bun. Talk about my clitoris. And finally, my clitoris is huge. Makes dating simple boys easier. That's all I had. Other like it's like that. It's a great set. All I really had was here's some alternative pitches.
That's good. Thank you. Well, you guys give me a lot to think about. That's for sure. All right. This is the end of the workshop. So did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Terrific.
This is the part where you get to promote any podcasts that you got, any social media that you want people to follow you on if they like what they saw. Sandra, do you have anything?
My website is sandrarisser.com. You can find me at Sandra-Risser. And as far as promoting, I don't really have any shows going right now except for a couple of private ones. When I get to Arizona where the clubs are open, I'll have some.
Yeah. Thank you. What about you, Dr. Ellen?
My Instagram is at Betsy Ellen Wesley, all one word. My Facebook is Ellen Wesley, and also Comedy for Community. I have a show coming up, a virtual comedy show, January 15th. It's called Virtually Hilarious with somebody from Eastern Europe. Amazing.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. What about you, Ari?
I'm here to promote depression and the road out of it. Not doing jack shit. I've got an Instagram. I'm sorry _Ari. It's got like not much on it. And who knows when that's going to change. Hopefully pretty soon. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff going on that's all not related to one another, and I'm not doing great at any of it. So catch me there.
We're there.
Well, at least you're trying. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
you get a gold star. What about you, Jesse?
You can find a lot of my sets and material that's coming out on my YouTube channel, Everybody Laughs. You can also find that on my on my production page, Everybody Laughs Productions. and hopefully I see you guys there.
Thank you. As for me, you can find me on Instagram at Victoria for Days. I promote a lot of stuff on there. On Thursdays, I have Victoria and Claudio's movie trivia night. This Thursday, we're not doing a trivia though, because it's the holidays. Just going to be an hour-long podcast where we talk about the movies coming up in 2021. And every Sunday, I have a podcast with 3 comedians. It's called The Dirty Four, and we're just dirty, crass comedians for 2 hours. This week, we have a guest. You guys probably know him. It's Daniel Grinnell. That was on the workshop a few times. So yeah, you guys should definitely join in. It's a lot of fun. And that's it. That's it for me.
That does sound fun.
And that's it for the workshop. So thank you everyone who joined in. Have a good evening. And I don't have a sign off. I love you.